Have you ever felt your heart start racing before anything even happens? You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to fall asleep, but your mind is already living tomorrow's problems. An email you haven't opened yet, a conversation that hasn't happened, a situation that hasn't even unfolded, and somehow your body is already reacting. Your chest feels tight, your thoughts speed up, your nervous system is on high alert. But here's the strange part. Nothing is actually happening. Your body is not reacting to reality. It's reacting to a prediction. Today, we're talking about how your body is trying to protect you from a future that doesn't even exist yet, and how that process might be quietly exhausting your nervous system and stealing your sleep. Welcome to Green Earth Essentials, where we explore the connection between holistic wellness, natural living, and the deeper intelligence of the body. I'm your host, Michelle Jackson, and if you stay with me through this episode, you're going to understand why your body seems to jump ahead, how this pattern forms, how it impacts your sleep and stress levels, and most importantly, how to start gently bringing your system back into the present. So, what exactly is anticipatory stress? At its core, your brain is a prediction machine. It's constantly scanning your environment, looking for patterns, reading subtle cues, and asking one very important question: what might happen next? This isn't a flaw. It's a survival mechanism. For most of human history, being able to anticipate danger before it happened was the difference between life and death. If your brain could predict a threat early, your body could prepare, raising your heart rate, sharpening your focus, getting you ready to act. The key thing to understand is this: your body doesn't just react to what is happening, it reacts to what it thinks might happen. So, when your mind starts running through future scenarios, whether it's a difficult conversation, a stressful event, or even just uncertainty, your body can respond as if that situation is already real. And in small doses, this is actually helpful. It can motivate you, prepare you, and keep you alert. But in modern life, something shifts. Instead of short bursts of anticipation followed by resolution, many of us stay stuck in this predictive loop. The what ifs don't turn off. The scenarios keep replaying, the body keeps preparing over and over again, and what was once a protective response becomes something chronic, something your nervous system never fully gets a break from. So, what's actually happening in your brain when this future mode turns on? There are a few key players working behind the scenes. First, you have the amygdala. This is the part of your brain that's always scanning for potential threats. It's fast, reactive, and not very concerned with whether something is definitely dangerous. It just wants to keep you safe. Then you have the prefrontal cortex, the more thoughtful, analytical part of your brain. This is where you plan, imagine, and simulate different outcomes. It's incredibly powerful, but it can also get carried away, running through scenario after scenario, trying to predict what might happen next. And when these two systems start working together, something interesting happens. The amygdala flags a possible future threat. The prefrontal cortex starts building a story around it, and your body begins to respond as if that story is already unfolding. This is where stress hormones come in, especially cortisol. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, but really it's a preparation signal. It tells your body to get ready, to be alert, to have energy available. The problem is your body doesn't fully distinguish between imagined stress and real stress. So, whether you're actually in a difficult situation or just thinking about one, your body can respond in almost the exact same way. Your heart rate changes, your muscles tense, your breathing shifts, all because your brain is trying to protect you from something that hasn't even happened. So, why do some people feel this so much more intensely than others? This is where it starts to get a little more personal because your brain doesn't make predictions in a vacuum. It builds them from your past. If you've experienced trauma, chronic stress, or even repeated difficult situations, your nervous system learns from that. It starts to recognize patterns and store them. So when something similar shows up, even if it's not the same, your brain can react as if history is about to repeat itself. You might not consciously think this is going to go badly, but your body remembers. There's a kind of conditioning that happens. Last time this situation came up, it was stressful. Last time you had that conversation, it didn't go well. Last time you felt this uncertainty, something uncomfortable followed. So now your system tries to get ahead of it. This is what we call emotional patterning. Your brain links past experiences to present moments and then projects them into the future. It's trying to predict the outcome based on what it already knows. And for people with highly aware or sensitive nervous systems, this process can be even more amplified. You notice more, you feel more, you pick up on subtle shifts in tone, energy, or environment, and your brain uses all of that information to build its predictions. Over time, this can turn into something called hypervigilance, a state where your system is constantly on alert, scanning for what might go wrong, trying to stay one step ahead. Not because you're overreacting, but because your body has learned that staying alert feels safer than being caught off guard. Once this pattern is in place, it can start to form a loop, a cycle that feeds itself. It usually begins with something small, a thought about a future event, something coming up later today, tomorrow, or even next week. And almost instantly, your body reacts. Your heart rate shifts, your muscles tighten. There's a subtle sense of pressure or unease that starts to build. Now, here's where the loop really takes hold. Your brain notices those physical sensations and interprets them as evidence. Something must be wrong. This must be a real threat. So it doubles down. It starts analyzing more, predicting more, trying even harder to figure out what might go wrong and how to prepare for it. And as those thoughts intensify, your body responds even more strongly. These sensations increase, the urgency builds, the feeling becomes harder to ignore, and around it goes. It becomes a feedback loop where your body convinces your mind, and your mind convinces your body, until at some point you're no longer just thinking about the future, you're feeling it as if it's already happening. Anticipatory stress isn't just something that happens in your mind. It shows up in your everyday life in ways you might not even notice. It's those tiny moments when your body reacts before your brain even fully understands what's coming. Think about a work meeting you have tomorrow. Even today, your shoulders might tighten when you remember it. Your stomach might feel uneasy, and your thoughts might start running through every possible thing that could go wrong. You're not consciously panicking, but your body is already bracing itself. You might notice you're checking emails obsessively or rehearsing conversations in your head, all because your nervous system is trying to prepare you for the future. Or imagine waiting for a phone call from a doctor, a friend, or a family member. Every ping on your phone could make your chest flutter, your pulse quicken, and your mind race through worst case scenarios. Your body is essentially rehearsing a potential outcome that hasn't happened yet, and the tension lingers, even if the call never brings bad news. Social situations are another arena where anticipatory stress can sneak in. You might have an outing, a dinner, or a presentation coming up, and days or even weeks before, your body starts signaling alarm. You notice tight muscles, a dry throat, or shallow breathing. Even something as simple as thinking about what you're going to say or how others might react triggers physical sensations, reinforcing the stress before the event ever starts. Parenting and caregiving can also be filled with anticipatory stress. You might find yourself worrying about a child's school day, a loved one's health, or an upcoming appointment. Your mind races through every scenario, and your body mirrors that tension. Sometimes it shows up as irritability, fatigue, or a persistent low grade anxiety that feels like it's just part of life. Even small, everyday tasks like paying bills, driving in traffic, or running errands can trigger subtle anticipatory stress. The brain is always scanning for potential complications, and the body prepares accordingly. You might not even realize how much energy is being spent on these future focused responses, but over time it adds up and can impact sleep, mood, and overall well being. Recognizing these moments is the first step. By noticing the physical sensations, the tight shoulders, the quickened heartbeat, the shallow breath, you can start to see the link between your thoughts about the future and your body's reactions. Once you identify these patterns in daily life, it becomes possible to pause, breathe, and bring attention back to the present moment. Because the truth is, anticipatory stress is a natural response, but it doesn't have to dominate your days. When you start observing it in real situations, you begin to create a space where your nervous system can relax even before the threat actually arrives. You can practice being fully present, noticing the patterns, and gently reminding your body that right now, in this moment, you are safe. One of the most common places this shows up is at night, when everything gets quiet, when you finally lie down, when there are no more distractions. This is when anticipatory stress tends to get louder. You're trying to fall asleep, but your mind starts moving. It begins running through tomorrow, what you need to do, what might happen, what could go wrong, and your body follows right along. This is what we call increased sleep latency. The time it takes to actually fall asleep gets longer and longer. Instead of drifting off, you are stuck in this in between state, tired but alert. And underneath it all, something physiological is happening too. Cortisol, which should naturally be dropping at night to allow your body to rest, can start to rise instead because your brain is signaling stay ready. So, even if you do fall asleep, it might not feel deep or restorative. You might wake up throughout the night. Your sleep may feel light, fragmented, or easily disrupted. And it's not because your body is failing you. It's because your body is trying to prepare, not rest. On some level, it believes something is coming, and it doesn't want you to be unprepared. So it keeps you just alert enough, just aware enough, just activated enough. And that's why this matters so much, because over time, this doesn't just affect your nights, it starts to affect your energy, your mood, your ability to recover. So, if you've ever felt like you're bad at sleeping or like your mind just won't turn off, you're not bad at sleeping. Your body just thinks it has a job to do. When this pattern continues over time, it doesn't just stay in your thoughts. It starts to show up throughout your entire body. Because even though the threat hasn't actually happened, your system keeps preparing as if it might. And that has real physical effects. Cortisol, which is meant to rise and fall in a natural rhythm, can stay slightly elevated for longer periods of time, not always in a dramatic way, but enough to keep your body from fully settling. Your digestion can start to shift. When your body senses stress, it moves resources away from processes like digestion and towards survival. So you might notice things like stomach discomfort, changes in appetite, or that familiar knot in your stomach. Muscle tension is another big one. You may find yourself holding tightness in your shoulders, your jaw, your neck, areas that stay slightly braced, as if you're preparing for something without even realizing it. And then there's fatigue, not the kind that comes from doing too much, but the kind that comes from being on all the time. Because even if you're resting, even if you're sleeping, part of your system is still running in the background, scanning, predicting, preparing. So you wake up feeling like you never fully powered down. And when you zoom out, this all points to one thing: living in a constant state of almost danger, not immediate crisis, but not true safety either. Just that in between space where your body never quite gets the signal that it's okay to fully relax. So, how do you begin to interrupt this cycle? The goal isn't to force your thoughts to stop or to eliminate stress completely. It's to gently teach your body that it doesn't need to stay in constant prediction mode. And that starts with awareness. The first step is simply naming what's happening. When you notice your mind jumping ahead, you can pause and say to yourself, "This is anticipatory stress." That small moment of recognition creates space. It shifts you out of the loop just enough to see it instead of being completely inside it. From there, you can begin to bring your attention back to the present moment. Not in a forceful way, but in a grounding way. What's actually happening right now? What can you see, hear, or feel in your environment? Because your body can only fully relax in the present. It can't settle into safety in a future that hasn't happened. Body-based practices can also be incredibly helpful here. Slow, steady breathing, relaxing your shoulders, placing your feet firmly on the ground. These signals tell your nervous system you're okay right now. And in a world that often feels uncertain, Reducing that uncertainty even a little can make a difference. Simple things like writing down what's on your mind, making a plan for the next day, or organizing your thoughts can help your brain feel like it doesn't have to keep running simulations all night. And this is also where gentle sensory cues can support your system. Calming scents like clary sage, vetiver, or sandalwood can help signal to the body that it's time to slow down. When paired with an evening ritual, something consistent and intentional, they can begin to create an association with safety, rest, and unwinding. Over time, these small practices don't just calm the moment, they start to retrain the pattern. They show your body that it doesn't have to stay one step ahead of everything, that it's safe to come back to now. At this point, it's important to step back and reframe what's happening. Anticipatory stress isn't a flaw or a weakness, it's a protective response. Your brain and body are trying to help you survive. They've learned from past experiences and are working hard to keep you safe, even if the way they're doing it doesn't fit the modern world. The good news is this doesn't have to be permanent. With awareness, gentle practices, and consistent support, you can begin to retrain your nervous system. You can teach it that it doesn't always need to stay on high alert, that the present moment is safe, and that sleep, rest, and calm are okay. So here's the line to hold on to. You're not broken, you're patterned, and patterns can change. That shift from fear to curiosity, from tension to empowerment, creates the space for real change. It reminds you that even though your body may have been predicting the future for years, you still have the power to bring it back to now. As we wrap up, let's bring it all together. Your body isn't actually predicting the future. It's predicting based on the past. Every tension, every racing thought, every restless night is part of a system trying to protect you, even if it's sometimes getting it wrong. Awareness is the first step to breaking this loop. The more you notice it, the more you can begin to guide your body back to safety and presence. Take a moment to reflect. What future scenario does your body keep rehearsing? And what would it feel like to come back to now? If you'd like to go deeper into this topic, explore tools, practices, and reflections for nervous system care and holistic wellness, you can join me over on my Substack at substack.com/at Green Earth Essentials. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for giving your body the space to return to calm. Until next time, this is Michelle Jackson signing off.